You are listening to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, episode number 114.
Welcome to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, where you will learn brand new and shockingly different tools to lose weight for the last time. And now, here's your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Laura Conley.
Hello, Yummy Mummies. So you guys, this is a very special episode. I have Megan and Jill and Tara with me today to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to have been in the Yummy Mummy experience, what their transformation has been like, and just to drop lots of little wisdom for you. So you guys know that I can tell you all the things until I'm blue in the face, but oftentimes you get the biggest ahas when you hear from people that are just a step or two or three in front of you. And that is why I love to bring these yummy yummies to you. So welcome to the podcast, you guys. I'm so happy you're here. So Megan, why don't you, we got Megan, we got Joe, we got Tara. Megan, why don't you start us off with a little intro of who you are, what it was like before you ever signed up for the Yummy Mummy and what it's like after.
Okay. Hi, my name's Megan. I live in New Orleans with my amazing, sweet husband and my two adorable little girls. I found Yummy Mummy not quite a year ago. And at the time, I wasn't unhappy or miserable or anything like that. I always thought of myself as like an optimist and a very grateful person. But I was extremely uncomfortable in my own skin. Like I felt like I was living in a body that was like not even mine. And it felt really uncomfortable. And so I found Yummy Mummy. And in the process of this, not quite a year, I've lost 54 pounds, which
so awesome.
Still blows my mind. And now I definitely feel like myself again. Like I feel like I'm in my own body and comfortable and happy and light and free.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so cool. Tell us about the story where you were like at a girls' trip with the other Megan. We have like 7 Megans, I swear to God. The other another Megan, and you were like, "What are you doing?"
Yes. So I was with one of my best friends, also Megan, and we had this fun little girls' trip with our daughters. We just like a little staycation at a cute little hotel. And she just looked so amazing. Like clearly she had lost weight, but like just her whole like aura. I don't know how to explain it. She just looked so happy and light and just like relaxed and content. And so I was just like, what is happening? What are you doing? Like, what is going on? Like something's different. And so she starts telling me about it, and she's talking about thought work and allow power and like all these different things. And my mind is just blown. And our daughters are like in the background, like giving each other makeovers and having little like strutting around little fashion shows and stuff. And I was just like, text me the podcast, tell me everything, like send me her Instagram. Like, I want to know it all. And I just like dove in deep. And I remember at one point being in one of those like drive-through oil changes. You know what I'm talking about? There's supposed to be like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like a 5-minute oil change or whatever. And I was listening to your podcast and the guy's like, "I'm really sorry. We're so backed up. It's going to be like 25 minutes. And I was like, okay, cool. And then no problem. Like, more podcast listening time.
I love that. It's so good. Oh, I love it. That's how it happens so often is that we see a friend and we're like, "Oh my God." And I love the way that the other Megan answered it too. She wasn't just like, "Oh, I'm eating this." She's like, "No, I'm working on my brain," because that's the real answer. I'm working on my emotions. I'm working on my brain. The real answer isn't, "Oh, I'm just not eating sugar most of the time." Right.
For sure. Like, and then even when we sat down to dinner and she started telling me about, her protocol and stuff, like we literally ordered the same thing. Like we ordered the same meal and we had this, like we shared an appetizer and I was like, wait,
wait, you're not just eating cauliflower for dinner?
Yeah. Like I can look like you still eating. Like how? Like tell me the secret.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's go to Jill. Jill, so happy you came to the podcast. Welcome. Tell us.
Thank you. So excited to be here, Laura. My name is Jill Pugh, and I live in Maryland. And I've got 3 kids, a great husband, and I've got a very busy, hectic life. Work full time from home now. Kind of before Yummy Mummy, I just had the same routine through life. I worked, I did the kids, I took them to their activities, I would squeeze in a workout a couple days a week. And I just, especially really the year before, I've been with Yummy Mummies now for about 6 months. I just was in a rut. Like I was gaining weight and I was frustrated. And it was like nothing seemed to be working for me. I was tracking my macros, counting calories, working out like a crazy person. And
Yeah.
I just had nothing was working for me. And I was really I was done.
Oh,
And when I found Yummy Mummy, it was like just the light turned on. And the last 6 months have been completely life-changing for me. And I've had amazing results. I've lost almost 26 pounds, and we still have about a month left. I've reached all of my goals, and it's just been awesome. When people ask me, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I joined this amazing group of women and I've learned to love myself, which is, really the biggest thing that I've taken away from this.
yeah, that's huge. It's huge. We're going to talk more about that because I know you guys have all experienced that. And I want to dive in. I want to sell people on wanting to love themselves because I think a lot of people are like, oh, can I just do that later? Or can I just do that once I lose the weight? And I'm like, you can, but I doubt you will. Like, let me force you into it in the 6 months so that your weight loss is permanent and so that your life is just better. So I just think that really brings me to tears when my clients say that, because that's like the best gift you can give yourself. So awesome. Good job, Jill. So excited for all of you guys. You're welcome. Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara. I have 2 little girls. I also live in Maryland.
Yay.
I don't know. I guess before I had the thought that I was just a little bigger, a little thicker. I'm really short. So I'm like, well, this is just how I am. But I did struggle. I struggled my whole life thinking this is just my lot and it's always going to be so hard. The last probably 5 years, I got into CrossFit. I was working out like 6 days a week. And I think I loved doing that because I felt like I could look a little bigger and it was almost like a badge of honor. And maybe that's why I liked it so much but then I was confused because my workout habits didn't reflect how my body looked. And I'm like, I've got these muscles, but I can't see them. And it was just so confusing. And like Jill, it was just macros, and Whole30 and just all the diets. And after like years of that and just saying like, look, I'm doing everything I can. I'm working out there. I can't work out harder. I can't diet more. I just kind of gave up. And I was like, this is me. I gave away all my beautiful coats and skinny clothes. I'm just like, I accept myself. I wanted my daughters to see a woman who accepts herself. We're always really careful about not bringing diet culture into the house, but it's hard. So then I did find your podcast actually like maybe a year and a half ago. And I'm like, that all sounds good. I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
And I remember last December, my coach at the gym was like, okay, let's all put our goals up on the board. And one of my good friends wrote like lose 20 pounds. And I'm like, I'm not even writing it because I know it won't happen and I don't want to be disappointed. And I've accepted this is just me. I'm okay with it. So then after I got rid of all the skinny clothes and all that, just one day I was going along doing life and I'm like, wait a minute, there was that podcast that I listened to. What was that again? So I went back and just binged your podcast and like listened to so many of the early episodes so many times. And so that commitment message just stuck. And it was like, I might as well just stick with this. I love what you said about it being my program, my rules, not somebody else's. And that there was no end. There was no like, okay, you're done with this diet. You lost 30 pounds. Now go do your life and good luck.
Yeah.
So that
cross your fingers.
Yes. Yeah. And that resonated so much. And I mean,
wait, let me interrupt you real quick because I'm so curious. You were like, okay, I didn't even put the goal up. Like I had accepted like this was my lot. Like I got rid of all the clothes. So what made you go back to the podcast? Like what made you be like, wait a second, I'm really not happy. There is more for
Nothing.
me.
I think I just, for some reason, it popped into my head. I really just
Okay.
remembered it. I wasn't looking for like the answer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
It
just so
really
curious.
just popped. I may have been listening to like a Kelly LeBeck podcast or something. I don't know. And that reminded me of you. So, and then you talk about dream come true weight all the time. And for me, it's like, I wrote this down. It's kind of cheesy. This was a dream I never even let myself have ever. Like I cannot remember ever weighing this weight, not even in high school. I really have never identified as a smaller person. Never. And it's nothing I ever even let myself entertain for years. It's like, oh yeah, I wish I could lose 30 pounds. Almost jokingly.
Yeah,
It was
like
a
that's
joke.
cute. Like that's
Yeah,
really
that's
cute,
adorable.
Tara. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
So even doing Weight Watchers, I never lost more than like 14 pounds and then gained it back immediately. So, I mean, talk about dream come true.
yeah.
It's like, didn't even know this was a dream that I had. So it's amazing.
That's so awesome. Okay, so how do you feel now?
Totally different person.
Hmm.
And pretty much anyone who's close to me will agree.
What do they say? What would they say? Like, what have they noticed? Not that it ever matters, right? About what other people think,
Yeah.
because it doesn't, but like, what would they say? Just out of curiosity.
I think just way more chill, way more open, way more calm, less controlling, and just
Yeah.
content, grateful, happy with
Mhm.
myself. Better parent, better wife, better sister, better friend, all of it.
Oh,
No,
that's so
everything.
awesome.
Yep.
And so, how does that feel for you in your body, getting to be that person and getting to have this dream like realized?
It's crazy. This is the person that I didn't know I wanted to. It's like, I didn't know. I didn't know this is who I needed to be. I didn't know. I thought I was doing okay before. I could just control myself with the working out
Yeah.
and controlling everything at home, kind of, and making sure everything was perfect. And now if my kids leave the house with messy hair and not matching clothes, that's fine. So
Yeah.
everything had changed.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh my God, we got your Christmas card yesterday, which was so cute. And my dad was like in my kitchen with me and he's like, "We got to put this out there. We got to show the people. Like, we got to tell them about Tara. Tara's saying it's her best life." And he's like, "Take a picture of this. Put it on we got to put this somewhere. Where do we?" I'm like, "We could put it on Instagram, Dad." He's like very excited, but he's like, "We got to put this." And now I have like this collection of Christmas cards from so many of you guys, and it's so special because it's like that's the real paycheck, is the Christmas cards that have the little like sentiments on the back. That is like everything for me.
Well, also, I sent out way fewer Christmas cards this year, thanks to you, but you made the list.
I can't, but yeah, I was gonna say, oh, I made the list. That's pretty good. I love it. I know I sent out way fewer Christmas cards too, and it was totally random. Like I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I didn't send my best friend a Christmas card. Whoops. But oh well, I'll put that on social media too, and everybody could get a Christmas card. Megan, tell us what you want to say. Your hand's up. I want to hear.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when Tara was saying like about a dream she never even let herself have, like that, I totally felt that. Like early on, you had asked about like, what would you be doing if you could free your mind from all this like chatter? And like, I think I was not really in tune with my mind before. I don't think I recognized all the thoughts I was having and how much chatter there actually was. I mean, I was always like, oh, I'm not a person that like obsesses about that stuff. But once I was able to like really hear my own thoughts, and like there was a lot of chatter like that I had no idea was even there. It was like this white noise in the background. It was there that I like was somehow able to just not even pay attention to and kind of drown out. And then once I really started paying attention, it was amazing. And I felt like I suddenly, like being able to quiet all that chatter, I suddenly had so much more energy. I like was able to accomplish tasks faster, like everything. I just kind of like leveled everything up. And it was just really cool to kind of like take stock of it and like look at sort of the before and after.
Well, I think that's so insightful and so interesting too, because I think a lot of people could relate to that. I was totally like that. I'm like, I'm a positive person, right? My life's good, really good. But it's like these subtle almost subconscious thoughts that are just like you're saying, they're playing like a soundtrack over and over and over again in the back of our minds. And those thoughts, even though they're not in the forefront, are creating feelings in our body of like dis-ease and constricted and tight and just us not feeling like ourselves. Like those thoughts are still creating feelings of whatever, the opposite of how we want to feel, probably.
And then making us like take actions that then kind of just continue that whole cycle. And, I would sit there like, why did I do that? Like, why did I eat that? Like, and it wasn't until I was able to like really listen and really hear those thoughts that I was like, oh, like that was just so huge for me. And it was one of those things that I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I think the word like mindset gets thrown around a lot. And it's like, what does that even mean? Right? It's like literally, you guys, there's sentences playing out inside your brain and they are making you feel certain ways and do certain things that may or may not be giving you the result that you want. I promise you, if you don't weigh what you want, it's just because of a sentence in your brain. And all we have to do is swap out those sentences for better, more intentional sentences. That's what mindset work is. And most people, like, it just doesn't resonate, right? That's why we do when we go to the parties, we answer like, oh, I'm not having processed sugar. That's what I'm doing. Because if we say, oh, we change our mindset, people are like, what? I don't really get what that means. It's literally swapping out sentences in our brain and making ourselves aware of them in the first place. So I think that's so good to know, because I bet you a lot of the listeners are going around in their lives fairly happy, fairly positive. I love what you guys are all bringing out. You don't have to be at like rock bottom to want to change. It can just be this part of your life that feels, not amazing, right? So I love that. Jill.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. We talk about, the sentences in our brain, and I think I'm a pretty positive person. I'm just kind of that by nature. But I realized I was that way towards other people, but towards myself, I didn't have that. And going through this process, you teach us on weighing ourselves every day. And that was new to me. I mean, I would weigh myself in the past, but the things that change, and especially the sentences in my brain, is that, when I started out, it was, my weight would go up and it would go down. And I noticed from the beginning to where I am now, as I would step on that scale and I'd be like, oh gosh, it went up, and I would get frustrated. And it was just, it's like, okay, it's not changing. And then what I realized is that I'm not changing. But as we went through this process, what you taught us is like, it's just a number. It's just a number. It's just data. And I would teach myself like, listen, I'm going to get on the scale and I don't care what it's going to say today. It may go up 2 ounces. It may go down 8 ounces. I don't know, but it's just data. And you're doing the things that you're needing to do to be successful. So it's talking to yourself. And that's been so huge for me, is just having that and learning to do that, which has been awesome.
Yeah. People think that like the answer is to I always say like throw the scale off the proverbial mountaintop so that they can be the ones in control. And that is actually you not being in control. Because what you're doing is you're throwing away the scale and you're giving the scale so much power, because you're throwing it away. You're like, this scale isn't going to have any power over me or any control over me. But really, it's your thoughts, right? It's just that scale is just a mirror into, hey, what am I thinking about myself? And do I want to think about that? Like, if you throw the scale away, it doesn't mean that you don't have those negative thoughts. It's just now you don't have the opportunity to clean them up and think better thoughts about yourself. It's like it's basically a form of denial and ignoring, which that sounds dramatic. But if you are stepping on the scale and you're seeing a number, which is just a number, it is just data, and you're interpreting it as, wow, something is wrong with me. I'm a bad person. I'm a failure. I suck. I can't do anything right. Those are all just sentences in your brain that are lies that aren't true. And you can
Yeah.
change those. And if you don't change those, it's kind of like what Megan was saying. If you don't see them and hold them up in the light, you can't actually change them. And they still are playing out in the background of your mind. Those thoughts are still there. They're just very subtle and subconscious, and they're making you feel inadequate. They're making you feel shame. They're making you feel regret and guilt. And that's playing out in your life and the way that you show up. So I would hate for anyone to throw out the scale, because it's an opportunity to really upgrade your opinion about yourself. And is it uncomfortable? Yeah, it is. Sometimes it is uncomfortable to see what you think about yourself. That's why denial is a great defense mechanism, but it doesn't get us the result that we want, which is losing weight for the last time. So anyways, I love that you're bringing that up. Megan.
The scale, when you bring up the scale, that whole piece was super, super powerful for me. And I love the way you have the program designed so intentionally. I feel like it just kind of guides you through. And once you sort of master one concept and new things start coming up, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, I got a lesson for that one too, and then I've just, the way you have it designed is so amazing. It takes you through in such an intentional way. And the scale was one of the early lessons. And I remember you saying like, okay, if you want to, you can post daily your weight and Slack. And I was like, I don't even tell my husband my weight. And I'm supposed to tell like all these strangers my weight every single, like daily, like, and that's not going to happen. And then people, like everybody in the group started where it felt like everybody, people started doing it. They kind of led by example. And so then I started doing it too. And for me, the scale was a mirror for how much I was engaging in like all or nothing thinking. And like, I just remember like when I used to do a different diet, I'd get on the scale and it would be up 2 pounds. And I was like, ugh, I give up. Like nothing is working. What's the point? Like, this is awful. I'm like hungry and miserable and I'm still up 2 pounds. Like, this is pointless. And I just didn't realize how much I was doing that all the time. And then being able to like hold up that mirror of seeing it every day. And then once I was seeing it every day, I could identify different patterns. And then I could anticipate like, okay, like this time in the month, I'm probably going to be up a little bit. And even if I wasn't anticipating it and I still was up, just having this ability to just be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Like, that's not going to change. I'm still going to stay the course. Like, that's not going to change what I'm doing here. I'm still going to keep honoring my protocol. I'm still going to keep journaling. I'm still going to do all this stuff. And I know eventually, like, the scale will catch up. Mm-hmm. And like, maybe I'm just faster and better than the scale is. I don't know.
So good. It's true. Yeah, the scale will always catch up. It's so true. And you guys, for those of you listening, thinking about joining the Yummy Mummy, you don't have to weigh yourself and put it out there. Like, it's totally optional. But one of the reasons why I offer that to you, and we're going to get into the question one of my favorite questions is like, what are the unexpected benefits that you guys have gotten? And I think one of them is exactly what Megan is alluding to, is like the power of having your own back and your opinion of yourself being the only one that actually matters. The reason why people don't want to post their weight in Slack, which is like our communication app, they don't want to post it because they're afraid of like what other people are going to think of them. And they're afraid that they're going to believe other people's thoughts. They're afraid other people are going to judge them. And I can't tell you like how many of us are just walking around every day, day in, day out, worried about what other people are going to think, and then behaving in ways that are inauthentic to basically control people's brains, right? Control people's thoughts. And so that's a huge unexpected benefit of the program. Like, you guys know that the underlying piece of the Yummy Mummy is to free the moms, and not just in their bodies, but also in their minds and in their spirits and in their emotional well-being. And if we're walking around every day, day in and day out, trying to control other people's thoughts about us, we're not free. And so if you can see, oh, I posted my weight and I didn't die and nobody even really cared, it's just a little microcosm and it's a little example of like, oh, I could just be myself and stop caring what other people think and live my life, because that's that's another trap I think that we all fall into. So Jill, what did you want to say? And then we can go into some of the unexpected benefits that you guys have gotten.
Sure. I mean, you don't have to weigh yourself every day, but I feel like you've said it before, like you've cracked the code. Your goal is to free 1 million moms. And so when I started this, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a student. Whatever Laura tells me to do, I'm going to do it because it's worked. I mean, my best friend from college did the program. And I'm like, you know what? If she's done it and all these other women have done it, it's like, I didn't question you. I'm like, if this is what I need to do, it's what I'm going to do. Now, again, you don't have to do it. Yeah. But once I got over that uncomfortableness, I was like, I'm going to do this every day. Yeah. I may have not have been perfect at it, but I was consistent.
Yeah. So. Well, you're the perfect example of what I love to teach, which is this concept of doing. This is not me criticizing you. This is me complimenting you. Let me just be clear.
It's okay.
Of doing like B- work. You guys, Jill hit her goal like 4 months in doing B- work. She told me, she admitted, she's like, sometimes, Laura, I don't journal on the weekends, right? You guys, you don't have to be perfect. And that goes back to what Megan was talking about with this black or white thinking. Like, I am like the queen, or used to be the queen of black and white thinking. And this program is and in both. There's room for mistakes. You have to get a B- so that you can get the result that you want. Like, that is just, it's like the antithesis of perfectionistic thinking and being. And you're just such a beautiful example of the willingness to do B- work. I mean, the Yummy Mummy itself would not exist if I wasn't like a student of B- work. Like, you guys should, I'm in my parents' rental, like just piecemealing this podcast together. This is totally going to be a B- podcast, not because of you guys, but just because of me. And that's okay. That's how we get results. So I think that's like really admirable that you were willing to show up and trust the process, because it can be really scary to trust the process when so many other things haven't worked. So I think that's really cool. I think that's really special to share. Like, I just did it, it worked for my best friend. So I was just going to trust. It takes a lot of drama out of it too. You're like,
sure, just
going to do it this way. Tara.
Just on the lines of trusting, you probably remember, like, when I was finishing up my first round of Yummy Mummy experience, I was like, oh, I'm up 4 pounds from my low and this will never go back. And I just had so much fear. And that was probably, I don't know, just a few months ago now. And now I'm in this place where my weight is totally maintained for like 6 months. There's a range, there's a 4 pound range. And I just had to trust. You're like, it's okay. Like, you're where you need to be. And it just by continuing to be consistent. Yes, I can't believe how easy it is to maintain, but the trust takes a while. It takes a minute.
Well, we all have the diet brains, right? Like, it makes perfect sense, and they're loud and they die hard. But that's our job inside the Yummy Mummy, is to really put them to rest once and for all. But they'll like poke up out of the grave once in a while. They'll rear their heads here and there. And that's totally fine, actually. And that's where I think coaching can be so powerful, or being in a container of other women that are going through the same thing, so that they can catch you, right? You guys, a couple of you have alluded to this, like, oh, I was up 2 pounds, I was up 3 pounds, I was up 4 pounds. And the Yummy Mummy experience catches you instead of the old way. The old way is I'm up 4 pounds. Well, this obviously didn't work. So I'm just going to eat everything I want to eat whenever I want to eat it. And then there you go back on the yo-yo, and then you gain all your weight back. But like, I really think that's why, because I think a lot of people don't understand, like, wow, why does coaching work for weight loss? Like, why do I need a coach? Like, can't I just do this on my own? It's like, maybe, but maybe it's easier and more fun to do it in a group and to have the support, so that if the scale does pop up because you ate your face off, or because you're getting your period, or because you had a lot of salt yesterday, or just because the scale goes up once in a while, like the Yummy Mummy and me, right? I'm here to catch you and be like, yeah, that's normal. And then it's easier to just go back to eating the way that you actually know works and you actually love to eat in that way. So I think that that's a huge piece of why this works. Megan.
And I mean, I think what I really loved was when I did get vulnerable and like put myself out there, put my weight out there, or put like my struggle out there, the thoughts I was kind of dealing with, having that community of women just like kind of pull you up and like remind you that you're doing this, like you've got this, like this is a momentary thing and just keep it up. I think if you didn't have this space where we could kind of, put ourselves out there a little bit and be a little vulnerable, we wouldn't have that benefit either. So there's like kind of that push and pull.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I'm curious about all y'all's experience with the group. I mean, I know you all love the group now, but were you hesitant about the group? I think a lot of people coming in are nervous about the group setting and about sharing and about being vulnerable. Can any of you guys share or speak to that?
I just wanted you all to myself. I thought I wanted like one-on-one. I don't know. Because of listening to the podcast, it just sounded,
of course.
It's not a group thing. So I just figured that would be the loudest and clearest way to get your messages. But the group is just incredible. It's so much fun. I feel like people are such dear friends. It's just the funnest thing to go check in on every day. And it just keeps it top of mind too. Don't forget what you're doing. So.
Yeah, because we're all in it together. It's so true. Yeah, somebody was like, I'll pay you like X amount of crazy amount of money to like do one-on-one. And I was like, I paused. I thought for like, I don't know, 2 seconds. And then I was like, no. I was like, it's a hard no. It's like not in your best interest. Like you have to be in the group. It's just, it was actually really cool, like to watch myself like really believe so wholeheartedly in the group when that person had offered like a crazy number, right? I'm like, no, because no, it's like just such a hard no. Like we have to do it in a group setting because that's the way that it works the best, in my opinion. Can you lose weight with a one-on-one coach? Totally. Does it work for some people? Yes. But I just think that for us, it's the end all be all. Megan, what were you going to say?
I was a little nervous that I wouldn't be able to relate to anyone in the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm going to have so much more weight to lose than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And like, that's going to be embarrassing, or like, maybe I just won't have the same struggles as people because I have so much more weight to lose than them. And that was totally a lie.
Yeah, it literally doesn't matter if you want to lose like 5 pounds or like 50 or like 100. Like seriously, it doesn't matter because it's the mental weight and the emotional weight is the same and the struggle is the same or very similar. Because I do get people that want to lose 100 pounds and then I get people that want to lose 5 pounds because of all the drama that, dieting is taking up. Jill.
In the group that I'm in right now, we have women from all different categories. I mean, we have women that want to lose 50 pounds, and there are a couple that just want to lose 5 pounds. But, your question was, joining a community of women. I mean, I'm one of those people. I love talking, and I'm not nervous, but I think the thing that I didn't realize that I would take away is that during our coaching calls, where having that platform to just kind of open it up to ask any questions, what was ever on our mind. Did we need help with something? And every single call, I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And I gained so much knowledge that I'm like, I'm going to apply that to myself or my way of thinking or my children. So it's like you get so much more out of this, the group sessions than just, sharing your weight, because it's such a learning opportunity.
Yeah, totally. Tara.
Real quick. I actually lost like the bulk of my weight just from listening to your podcast. So I even kind of hemmed and hawed a teeny bit about, do I actually need to do the experience? Because I'm having a lot of success just journaling and following my protocol. But I would not have changed as inherently as a person had I not joined the experience, gone through the actual program, learn from the other women. Like that is where the real beautiful change happened, not just the physical weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's so good. It's so true. Okay. So let's go to that question of what are some, and you guys have touched on them a lot already, but any other unexpected benefits that you've got? Yes, you've all lost weight and it's something to be celebrated. Anything else that you want to share that was unexpected? Tara, and then Jill.
for me, some of the biggest changes, there's so many, I'm not overwhelmed by situations anymore. I just figure stuff out. The buffering doesn't happen anymore. It's just like, let's just do this. Let's just finish it. I don't need to be thinking about this. I don't need to overthink this. Let's just get it done. Procrastination has improved a lot. It's just my style, like the clothes I want to wear. I feel like I probably used to be kind of inauthentic to who I really want to be. So, but mostly it's just like that. I figure it out without fear. The fear in life is just gone. There's not just this sense of doom anymore because I love myself and I trust myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Anyone else want to share unexpected benefits?
The unexpected benefit for me is, the weight loss piece is amazing, and learning to love myself is just unconditionally, but putting that into my family. And I have gone through some changes recently and just, with my life, and I was struggling. Like I was just becoming a person that I didn't like. And where I've changed, it was through journaling, and I'd never journaled in my life. And I kept my journaling very simple. Like I used my phone, I put it in my notes, but every day was just a constant reminder of things that I wanted to work on or what my intentions were for that day. But it was always applied towards life, whether it's my husband and my children. And, like I said, so it's interesting how the weight loss piece just transitions to other areas of your life that you can grow from. And that has really helped me.
Well, that's huge because I think so many moms don't want to sign up for the Yummy Mummy experience because they feel like it's taking away from their family. They feel like the money's taking away from their family. They feel like the time that they're going to have to invest, which by the way is no time compared to like the other shit that's out there. Yes, there is some time, but you don't meal prep for 12 hours on Sundays in my program, right? So I think that that's a really important point, that if you're willing to fill your own cup and get what you need, your family's going to benefit times a freaking million because of it. Like, I know it's cliche, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to put your oxygen mask on first if you want to save your kids, if you want to save your family. Like, seriously, I know it sounds dramatic, but it's so true. Megan.
Yeah, that for me, that was like the biggest barrier was the cost of it. And I literally sat down and I was like, this is like a Disney World vacation. Like I could take my kids to Disney on this money. And I had this guilt about like, why would I do that? Like, why would I take that away from them? And I sat down with my husband and he was just like, I mean, if you feel like we can do it, do it. Like, he's so supportive. Like, it's like, if you feel like money wise, we can make it work. And I'm like, but we could be spending it on a vacation or whatever. And he was just like, well, then why are you sitting down with me and talking about this with me? And I'm like, because I really want to do it. That's why. And it's almost like I went to him for the permission. Like, I knew he was going to say, I knew he was going to be supportive. I knew he was going to say, do it if you want to do it. It was almost like I couldn't give myself permission. I had to have him okay it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't just do it. And I literally thought to myself, it's only expensive if it doesn't work. And I'll be damned if I don't I'm going to do everything in my power to make this work.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going. There's no turning back. I'm doing this. And that was so powerful. I mean, I know I've told you before, I sat down at my computer, I opened up the payment screen, I pulled out my credit card, in slow motion. I'm so afraid to do it. And I typed in the numbers of my credit card And I did the thing where you like squeeze your eyes really tight and you like click the button. And then I kind of like opened them, like, did I do it? And I did it. And I mean, but then after I just got like this feeling of like I'm going to do this. Like, this is who I am now. Like, I'm a person that cares enough about myself to spend this money on myself and not twist it and make it like I'm taking it away from my family, like I'm giving to my family. Like this, it was so freeing and powerful and like terrifying and amazing all at once.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love it. Like just visualizing you sitting there in your cold sweats and like squinting your eyes. And I think it's such a cool point that you bring up. Like so many of us go to our partners or our husbands or whoever, and we want permission, but it's so true. The permission you're seeking is from you. We have to be willing to give that permission to ourselves. It's so hard. And I love what you bringing up about the Disney vacation. It's like, if we really sit down and think about it, what is the gift that we want to give our children? Do we want to give them a vacation to Disney, or do we want to give them a mom who loves themselves?
And guess what? I still figured out how to give them the vacation to Disney that year. Like I still figured it out.
Yeah.
Like
going
I
to
made
Tara's
it work.
point. Yes. That's what you took the words out of my mouth. Totally. Because it's to Tara's point. It's like you figure shit out. Like when you know how to manage your mind, you can create whatever result you want to create in your life. Like you really can. I'm not being, I'm not living in a fantasy world. Like you really can. And people will say, well, that's unrealistic. And you shouldn't go talking about that. I'm like, yeah, it's literally my responsibility because everybody's trapped in these bodies and in these thoughts of like, I can't. It's like, no, you can. You can do both, right? But even if we pretend you can't do both, it's totally a lie. You totally can. But it's like, what is the better gift, And I just think that's such a cool point that you bring up. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, Jill, tell us.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on, the cost, because when my girlfriend told me the cost of the program, I was like, ugh! I mean, it was like gut dropping. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, oh no, I can't do it. And then, and it was a month before like the next session. But I still submitted an email to get the daily emails. And I started following you on Instagram. And it was like, the more and more I just listened to you. And I was like, I got to do this. No, it's like, I don't have to do this. I want to do this. And then I like literally started thinking, okay, I just spent the last 2 years, 4 days a week with a personal trainer. I have a gym membership. I have done every single diet. I have bought every single diet powder. And I'm like, I have spent so much more over so many years than the cost of this program. And I'm like, it's a no frickin' brainer. And I brought it to my husband and he's like, well, I don't care. It's a lot of money, but if it's what you want to do, like figure it out. And I was like, you know what? I am going to figure it out. But it's interesting because a podcast that you just had with Laura Dixon, at the end of it, you were talking about like how much money we spend on so many things for our children, whether it's horse lessons or soccer camps and crap they could care less about. And it was like, you know what?
They're like crying, they're kicking and screaming, not wanting to go to.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know what? I'm putting myself first for once. And it was so freeing and fulfilling to be like, you know what? No. I'm doing this for me. But in turn, what I've taken away is like, I've been able to give my family so much more. So it was well worth pushing that button. Yes, Megan.
Yeah, it's so, so true. I think what's so interesting, it's like, yeah, we've spent more than $5,000 over the course of like decades on trying to solve this, but those things don't even actually solve it. Like it's such a waste. It's so crazy. And yeah, I think that you guys would agree, and the Yummy Mummies as a whole would agree that it's like Megan said, it's only expensive if it doesn't work. It's kind of cheap if it does work, and then you're done. You're done. What does it give you? Like even the ability to figure out like how I don't know, going back to Tara's point, like you learn inside the Yummy Mummy experience how to create whatever result you want, including how to create money. It's crazy. So anyways, let's end with final thoughts. What do you guys feel like is the one thing that somebody out there needs to hear in order to transform? What is the one thing that you don't want to get off this podcast without saying, without telling that listener that's out there? What is the one thing that you wish someone had told you, or maybe they did tell you and it made it easier for you to take that leap of faith so that you could heal this once and for all? Jill.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I wish I would have thought about this or knew before I started is that you can't put a time limit on, losing weight for the last time. Everybody's different. Everybody has different results. And if I would have known that, I think I probably would have given myself a little bit more grace in the beginning, because you see people with faster results, and then there's people with slower results. And you just have to realize that you are going to be on your own pace, and it may take you 6 months. Your final goal may take you a year, but know that there's no time limit. To me, I've looked at this as like, this is a forever thing. I'm doing this forever. And I think that's, something I feel like if people are on the fence of like, should I do this? Am I going to lose all the weight in 6 months? You may not lose all your weight in 6 months, but you're going to learn the tools on how to lose and get to your goal weight.
I totally agree. Like the when is really none of your business. And I think you really adopted that principle, and look at you. 4 months into the Yummy Mummy experience, you lost weight for the last time. It's like in the willingness to like loosen our grip and to let it be slow, we actually get there very fast. It doesn't seem fast sometimes at the beginning. It seems very slow, but it's very fast because you're done. You're literally done. Yes. Are you going to work to maintain it every day? You guys, I teach my Yummy Mummies to journal every day for the rest of their lives, like brushing your teeth. Yeah. Are you going to have to do that if you want to maintain your weight? I think so. But that can be a positive experience and one that you love. And so I think letting go of the grip actually ends up making it very fast in the grand scheme. You lost weight for the last time in 4 or 5 months instead of doing this for the next 4 to 5 decades. It's magical. So awesome. So good. Okay, let's go to Megan.
I was shocked at like how easy it all was. Like I struggled and fought and like was just miserable. Like, and the most I ever lost on like a Weight Watchers or, a Whole30 or a whatever was like 15 pounds. And it was like kicking and screaming the whole way. Like it was just so miserable. And this was just so much easier. It was not without discomfort. Like there were times that it was uncomfortable, but it was I never was like, this is so hard. I never had that thought, like not even once. And literally that thought of this is so hard is what caused me to quit every other thing I had ever tried. And having this, I think kind of like for me, having the future self work, like having that ability to kind of dream of the things, kind of like Tara, you had said before, like the things I really never gave myself permission to dream of before, like having this person like that was my role model, that was me. Like that was really a cool concept to have. It just made all of it feel so possible. Like it just made it feel like this is inevitable. Yes. And I had set a goal in the beginning. I've reached the goal. I've upped my goal and I'm still working for the last like 10, 15 pounds. I don't know. Maybe like when I get there, maybe I'll up it again. I don't know. Like, but none of it feels impossible or difficult or miserable. It's all just so easy and fun.
Yeah.
And I thought it was crazy. Like when I was first getting into your stuff and you're like, it's fun. I'm like, what is she on? Like, it is not fun. Like, I've done all these things and none of it is fun. Like, nice
so
try.
Good. Yeah. It's so good. I know, because I don't think anyone believes me. I think you're right. Everybody's like, what is she taking? So yeah, it can be easy and fun, and you don't have to be in this pressure cooker like you're describing. It's so awesome. That's so cool. It's just, it sounds like what you're describing. It's like you're just in this flow state. And I feel like being in flow with weight loss, it's usually two things you don't hear in the same sentence, but it is possible. Sure. Yeah. Tara.
I don't think I have anything earth shattering, but I guess before I really thought I was broken. I thought there's so much wrong with me. I thought I was so different from everyone else. And so it is the hugest comfort. And the group has a lot to do with it. Just to know that I'm no different. I have a normal human brain. That is such a comfort. I love thinking about my brain now. And I love seeing my brain going places and thinking like, yeah, no, it's so freeing. It's so comforting to know that everyone has thoughts of doubt and everyone questions and everyone's brain is wanting to be like everyone else. And I mean, you teach why that is, and everything just makes so much sense. So I guess just the fact that it will work, I'm really not different. It's just such a comfort.
I love that. And tell us one of your favorite, because before we hit record, you were telling us one of your favorite concepts that like really helped you move the needle. Will you share with us that?
So the big thing that works in my brain a lot is your philosophy of there's going to be discomfort. So it's either the discomfort of, oh, I ate that and now I'm going to think about it for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to beat myself up for 2 weeks, or the discomfort that lasts for max 2 minutes of, oh, I really want that, but I'm not going to have it. It doesn't, they're both uncomfortable, but the freedom that you get on the other side is then like, yep, I'm not going to have that. I am so proud of myself every time I make that decision. And it's a teeny bit hard in the moment, but now it's not. And just thinking about how I used to obsess and beat myself up about it. So and that applies to everything in life. Like even now, I'm thinking about work. Well, you might as well just do it. It might not be fun and comfortable to do it, but if you do it, then you're not going to be thinking about it and you're not going to be mad about it. So it just applies to everything.
Yeah. Everything. Like, let's just get it over with, right? Let's get it over with. Like you're going to be uncomfortable. Like, why don't we choose the one that actually moves us in the direction that we want to go instead of staying stagnant? It's so good. Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming on the podcast. This was so helpful. I could just see in my imagination just the whole audience getting aha after aha. And I really appreciate all y'all so much. So thank you so much for being here. Hey, you guys, if you want to apply for the Yummy Mummy experience and be on the, like, imagine yourself like you don't have to come on the podcast, right? But like you're saying these same things in a 6-month time period from now, or like in a year from now, or 3 months from now. Like, what if this was you? You're sitting across the table from your friends being like, yeah, I can't believe I love myself. Like, yeah, I can't believe I lost 50 pounds, or whatever the thing is. This could be you. Allow yourself, like Tara said, allow yourself to have the dream. Hold that dream just for 30 seconds and then a minute, and then go apply for the Yummy Mummy experience. And let's just get this done once and for all. 2023 is your year. This is the last year that you put that goal on the list. This is it. We're done. So all you have to do is go to lauraconley.com and click work with me, and you can go ahead and get your application in. Applications are going to close on January 23rd. So get that baby in now. Thank you guys so much for being here. Say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you
guys
so much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Laura.
Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, I would love it if you leave a rate, review, and a subscribe on whatever you're listening to this podcast in. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. It would help me so much, and it would help all the other mamas out there hear this message. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. And you have to come check out the Yummy Mummy experience. It's my proven lose weight for the last time group coaching and course. Head to lauraconley.com and just click work with me. Other than that, you guys, I would love to give you a free gift. If you want your free listener only gift, go to lauraconley.com/gift. And from there, you will get your free best ever weight loss hack. So cool. The last thing I want to tell you, you guys, is I do have a free Facebook group. It's called, you guessed it, the Yummy Mummy. Lose weight for the last time, end body drama, and get food freedom. You can just search that on Facebook, or again, you can head to the show notes and you'll find the link there. All right, you guys, have the best day ever.